trading session. We had a lot happening in the world. Well, I mean, you guys have been around for longer than a couple of days. I'm sure none of you fell off the apple cart yesterday. We've just had things amp up a little bit. Now we've got North Korea actually threatening for a long war against the imperialism of the United States. And maybe they do that, maybe they don't. But we're looking at, I think, a bullish situation for things like gold and metals. We'll get into more specifics on charts and all sorts of other fun stuff here. I'm going to go through the economic calendar, give you guys a little bit of an idea of what happened this week. Last week we had talked about some pretty catastrophically high levels of inflation. At least that seems like the way the bank treated them in England years ago in 2008 and 2011. We actually had higher inflation than either of those times, which is, well, it typically means there's going to be some good volatility, and we saw some good buy opportunity last week. We actually, I think, captured a good number of pips here. I just want to make sure everybody can hear me before I get too far in here. I can get this chat window to open. Bear with me for 1 second. Here we go. Are you guys able to hear me? It seems like a hard maybe right now. Let's see here. Can you guys can hear me? Seems like you can now. I just want to make sure before I get too far. How we doing, Mike? How we doing, Antonio? Kian? Wake up, everybody. There's lots to look at. I want to go ahead and get to the point here, and I'm going to cover my base first. Just want to make sure audio is good. You guys can see now the risk disclaimer. You guys should be able to see the risk disclaimer now. Is that right? It seems like my audio is not working. Hold on here. Oh, there's just a delay. I got to scroll up on this chat box. Interesting. All right, cool. Well, anyways, seems like we're on the right path. But this is a risk disclaimer. If you haven't seen one and you want to continue trading, you're going to see a lot more of these, or at least if you want to keep learning about trading. But that being said, what this means is that if you put your money in the Forex or any market for that matter, then your capital is at risk. You have to risk it to get the biscuit, people. There's no such thing as a guaranteed trade or a guaranteed investment. Anybody tells you about one, they're full of it. So let's keep on moving. If you have any questions about anything that we cover in here, I will be talking about lots of different trading strategies. I might use some indicators you've never seen. And, generally we're going to talk about a lot of different geopolitical risk that might exist in the world of currencies right now. And, why things might be happening. Nobody really knows, what specifically is causing the yen to go up well, actually, the yen is actually falling. The dollar yen is up big right now. We actually got out early on that buy trade from last week. But if you guys have questions about things, you want me to slow down or explain more or whatever it is, or explain less, maybe I struck a chord and you don't want to talk about this topic. Whatever it is, I want to talk about places where we might be able to make some money in here, and I want to help you guys figure out how to do that on your own as much as possible as well. Some of you that are here for the first time are probably a little confused maybe about how you ended up in this trading session. Maybe not, but reality of the situation is we are an introducing broker, and our primary function is to make sure you have awesome trading conditions for whatever country it is that you live in. And some of you generally live in, in my opinion, more awesome places to trade Forex than others, because you get more leverage, you get more symbols, you can trade CFDs, all sorts of cool stuff. Actually, I think everybody in here has more fun trading their Forex account than we can here in the US. But that said, if you have any friends, family, you need help with your account, send us an email to brokers@123trade.com. Again, that's brokers@123trade.com, and we can help you out. But we're going to do lots of analysis in here. I'm going to cover as much as I possibly can in the hour that we've got to do this. And I used to cover all of these topics in here. I don't think necessary to do in here live every week. If you go to our website, 123trade.com/YouTube. I'll just pull up the website here. Well, this is the news page on our website, and this updates all the time. Yeah, these feeds come in directly. These are Google searches I used to make every single day manually, and now they're just kind of on this page all the time. So this is where I really built this so I could be slightly lazier with my trading. There's an ebook here also if you want to know how I actually use it. But anyways, the YouTube page over here. And then we also have a YouTube channel if you go to just YouTube and you look for 123Trade. But lots of educational videos down here if you want to learn how to do basics of trading, how the charting software works, all the buttons that people use, well, most people use, I should say. Then all these videos are here. That's why they exist, because I don't want to teach the same lesson in here every week. I want to look at cool stuff. I want to pull up the economic calendar first here, get into the fun part, so we can figure out maybe what we want to look at, what might be moving a ton. Okay, and in looking at this, we had, well, really kind of anticipated that the UK might do something. The Bank of England, I should say, not the UK. Those are two completely separate entities. The Bank of England is actually a private entity. That being said, CPI number here, year over year, the 6.2%. Just want to make sure everybody's still on the same page. You guys see that this, you guys see any numbers on here higher than 6.2% when it comes to a consumer price index? Anybody? Just a wire in. I want to make sure the audio works. Just a wire and end. I want to make sure you guys. All right, perfect. So you guys can tell there's never been a higher CPI in recorded history that we can look at. There's probably more numbers you can get from somewhere, but you know, if you can look back and say, you know what, the crisis in 2008 and all of the mess that followed that, you know, wasn't worse than this. We have more inflation now. So you would think that the bank would be doing something big by now to try to save the day. Maybe they can't. Okay, maybe they can't. Okay, that may be why this number broke out. As a trader myself, I look at this as a breakout, because that's what happens when you make new highs. You call it a breakout. So we may not see the type of support that we have historically seen at this same level of inflation, which to me, I'm just trying to figure out what the banks are going to do and what the main, you know, what the big players are going to do. Okay, I want to think like the central bank, because there's really only 7 of those that I really trade their currencies. So, you know, there's really not a whole lot to figure out, in my opinion, at least after years of doing this. So that's probably not fair, but there's really not a whole lot that they can do. They can either raise interest rates or not, and they can stop printing or not. But the thing is if they destroy the economy in the process, you know, can't really hurt the cow. You got to milk it later. So we'll see. What we're going to look at the pound. There's definitely opportunity on the pound. It will be moving. Inflation means the price is changing. Okay, faster than it ever has. Okay, so lots of opportunity there. That's what that means. This German flash manufacturing PMI, I guess maybe they're gearing up for war, is what that might mean to me. So we may see a little bit of a bump. The other thing that we might notice in places like Europe is that, well, fuel costs are going through the roof right now, and energy costs. How many of you live in Europe and know what I'm talking about? Is that just a story that they tell us? It's hard to tell anymore what's real in the news. I base most of my opinions on what I see on the chart. And when I look at charts, we talk about things like oil and energy prices. Let's go to, I'm going to pull up a chart here so we can look at one here. Let's pull up oil, okay? Because I know that the government did their darndest here recently, and they opened up the strategic oil reserve to save all of us from high prices at the pump. That's really what they claimed that they were doing. But anyways, let's look at the all-time, okay, and see what's actually happening with price, devoid of all of the garbage that they tell us on TV. I'm gonna go ahead and draw this big line here. This was a trend downward. I'm sure if anybody disagrees, then speak now or forever hold your peace. This was a downtrend for years, long time. You know, lower highs, lower lows, all the things, you know, and then we broke out of that, okay? And this is our broken downtrend. And the reason why I'm really confident that we're not going to see these low prices anytime soon, at least, is because this number is actually below zero. The charts will just only show zero. There was actually negative 17, something negative 17, negative 18. Can't remember exactly what it was, but it was negative for the first time in history. Okay, and then we had this big slingshot upward, and we've got a higher low on the right side of our trend line. Okay, so we have broken our trend, formed a low that's actually higher than this other one that's right next to it. Okay, so we've got higher lows on the right hand side. We've also got this high that formed and another higher high above it. So we're in uptrend territory, and there's really no reason for me to even pay attention to this line anymore. Goodbye, old downtrend. Okay, I'm going to zoom in here a little bit to more recent time, because now that I'm confident that this is an uptrend, I'm going to just draw this, and we're above that line. And since we're above it, I'm going to assume that we're still in an uptrend, because we haven't broken our trend. And I like to make jokes about this. I want to make this obvious, okay? And this is how I do my analysis on every chart. I'm going to look for higher highs, higher lows, lower highs, lower lows. I'm going to draw lines. You're going to see some boxes here soon. You know, I'm going to make this as, well, let's just say I want to try to be as diverse as possible with my strategy, and also as simple as possible at the same time. If that makes any sense at all, I hope. But the reality is I want to use simple tools to find complicated patterns. That's really what I want to do, okay? Because if I can figure out with my simple tools, it's probably something I can do over and over again. Okay, so we look at this here, okay? We had a couple of weeks of down. Anybody here know why this downturn happened? This was a fairly large dip we saw from the high 120s down to the 90s, okay? Anybody know why that happened there? Where I just drew that box? This is oil prices we're still looking at here. This is per barrel. Anybody know why that happened? I don't want to spoon feed all this stuff. I want to see if anybody knows anything in here. What's up? Anybody know why that happened? Just a sudden, $30 dip in in the price of oil per barrel? Yeah, exactly right, Brian. We're talking about the government added 60 million barrels, 60 million barrels, okay? 60 million barrels of oil from the strategic reserve. And now that I've dragged out this question as much as possible, okay, that's what did that. Okay. Does anybody know how many barrels of oil? This is another fun question. Just want to try to get you guys involved, help you guys understand what this really means. How many barrels of oil does the U.S. economy use in one day? Does anybody know? You can guess. It's a number between, well, it's between 1 and 60 million. Herb, on the money. That's what I'm talking about, Herb. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. 20 million. Okay, so they put a 3-day supply into the system to save us from prices at the pump. Okay, I'm sorry, but that's not going to do it. Okay, and the reason why we know that wouldn't do it, okay, is because if you come back over here and you look at this one, this big dip here, this is 55 million barrels of oil that they put in. So that was 55 million. Okay, that they injected. They started talking about it, I guess, would have been in October, late October, October 24th. Okay, and then we fell down to, the 60s, and we saw this big jump, we doubled in price after that. And then they took the government took the same strategy that didn't work before, and they did it again, because they're good at that. And, this is how trends work, and it'll be the trend until it's not. Okay, and unfortunately, as an American, I think it's probably going to be the trend for the next, until 2024, maybe the end of this year. Okay, because it seems like we're going to need to vote this trend off. If that's even a possibility, I don't know. But that being said, you guys don't need to care about American politics, but I can tell you that they have been driving higher oil prices. Okay, and whether anybody wants to say that explicitly or not is fine. I don't care. Maybe they want to do that. Maybe they don't. Truth of the matter is, this is an inner trend line that's also up. Okay, so where do we think this is going to go? I think much higher, and I'm showing you guys this on purpose right now. I want you guys to understand, one, how to break down a chart like this and how to understand what energy costs are going to do. Okay, a lot of things correlate, especially with gas and oil, and I want to help you guys figure out where this might end up next. Okay, because next, I think that we have a very strong shot at going from our green level to our next green level above, and this might be our next little hiccup in price, 135.99, 136. That's really where I think oil is headed. So I think oil is going to get a little bit higher, and then I think maybe we take a little bit of a break. Okay, so what does this mean? Okay, what does this mean? Can anyone tell me what country is the most heavily affected by oil? And we're going to back this up with the chart here in a second. I'm going to show you guys. Anybody know what currency might be affected most heavily by oil? Which countries import, export? Oh, lots of fun answers here. We've got a lot of people that said the CAD. I think that there's a chance that you're right, and for a very long time I agree with you. So let's go have some fun here. Let's go look at the CAD, because I think that there's two of them. Well, the US dollar, very much so, but I think that that's kind of a double-edged sword for us. But this is the CAD, okay, and we're going to look at this. Obviously, oil's been on the rise. Okay, so you guys can see the CAD versus, the world. This is the index here that we're looking at. And this looks like an uptrend to all of you guys, I'm sure. Okay, and more recently, I want to show you guys this one. Okay, let's go look at the JPY. Okay, this is the JPYX. You guys see this? I'm going to clear this out. You guys see that? Okay, since March 8th, okay, this is the yen versus everything. It's making some serious moves down. Okay, if we go to the all-time frame on here, I don't have a ton of history on this chart, but if you look at what's happened on the month with the JPY, that's a pretty emphatic downward move. I don't even know if we're at an extension. We're not there yet. Okay, so we might see a little bit more movement downward on the JPY, and there might be a very big opportunity to buy the JPY soon. And the reason why I believe the JPY might be hot is because if they import or export anything, they're an island. Let's go look at the CAD. I don't think we looked at this. I want to look at this one more time. I want to see what this monthly candle looks like. But as far as movement goes, we've got similar action. Actually, opposite action. Very strong on the CAD, very weak on the yen. Okay, so you guys all see what I'm looking at? I'm looking at really big movement in these two places. So one thing that might be setting up, there might be a really epic trade coming. Not yet, maybe not today. Maybe I'm going to set a pending order on this CAD JPY. Okay, you guys see that? This little buy trade that we had here didn't even see the war coming. That was I think we hit the take profit there. We're going to clear that out. So let's go ahead and keep on moving here. Sorry, I get a lot of joy from seeing trades that I made weeks ago, months ago, forgot about, and then I probably could have stayed in that one longer in hindsight. That's just lots of fun for me. Anyway, so this is a downtrend. This looks just like oil. Remember? You guys remember that oil chart we looked at? And, I belabored the point on this being a downtrend. Yeah. Oh, yeah. This is why that's really, I promise I was building to this the whole time. But we've got something very similar on this chart. Okay. And we've got lots of lows that are forming, higher lows. Here's a low. Okay, that's a low one. That's all the way back at the beginning of the COVID madness. Okay, so this trend's been going for a really long time, for as long as everybody's been hiding inside. This thing has been just forming higher lows, just going to work. Higher lows, boom, boom, higher highs. Okay, now it's accelerating a lot. Okay, so this may not be something that we want to bet against yet, but there is definitely a critical price where I might want to. Okay, so that being said, let's figure out where that is. I'm going to use my Fibonacci tool. And the first fun one to look at, and this is very similar to what we just saw in the index here, is right up here at this red line. Okay, and I'm going to make this actually blue because this might be where I set an entry point. Okay, and I may actually even be a little bit more conservative and enter all the way up here at the tip at the price, at that price. Okay, so I want lots of pips here because there's going to be lots of prices that don't get fulfilled, and I want to pick something that's heavy. I need to figure out how far. I'm making a pretty big prediction here that once we get to 100, okay, this market's not going to want to keep going. It may go a little past 100. I'm going to be catching, a pretty serious bullet here. But that being said, I want in at this price. And if I really want in at this price, something tells me there's a major institution out there thinking just like me. Because bottom line, there's a lot of money that would love to see these prices above. Let me go ahead and get a little box here. Okay, these prices above, we paid the crap out of these for a while. Okay, why wouldn't the market ever return there? Okay, so the point is, I can start loading into this position because I think that the demand for oil is going to fall like crazy if it goes to $200 a barrel. How many of you will be driving less if gas goes up another 50% in price? This is the Y or an end. Or if you'll be driving less, okay, if you're going to slow down on buying gas, if the price goes up another 50%. Some of you, we're talking about somewhere around maybe 4 more euros per gallon. I don't know what that would be. It'd be 12 euros a gallon. What is it now? I think you guys are more you guys are thinking liters. Sorry, I'm an American and thinking in measurement systems that don't make as much sense. Sorry. But that being said, you guys get the point. Okay, you guys get the point. I want to set up a place where let's just say if this gets to 100, that's 600 pips away. I want in there. Okay, so I want to set a pending order for myself there. I'm going to have a wide stop loss. I'm going to go to a lower time frame here, and I'm going to look for a way to trade towards it because I still think it's a rocket and it's a breakout. Okay, so this is my trade that I'll be looking for later. I've got time. Okay, I can come back and look at this next week if we want to. Okay, let's look for a trade for right now. I know how everybody is. I know everybody wants to know about today. Okay, this looks like a pretty aggressive uptrend. Not something that we could necessarily jump in right now because there's nowhere to protect your risk. Okay, so unfortunate thing about an incredibly hot trend like this is that I can't look for a long-term position. We are down slightly today, so I'm going to come down to this hour. Okay, and I'm going to look for something real thin. Okay, so this is what I'm going to really. I'm just going to look for a place where I can get 2 to 1 on my money. Okay. Because this is an obvious uptrend, and I just want to take a little bit of a bite out of maybe the next high. Okay, I just want to be able to protect my risk in a place that might make sense because the market's turned before. Okay, we had a double bottom that happened there, so now I want to try to get a 2 to 1 on my money. And that's somewhere right up here. Okay, so this is just on the way to my next trade. I'm going to set my pending order here in a second. I may actually wait. I just want to know that this exists. This is going to be red hot. Okay, if there's going to be red hot movement, I want to be a part of it. Okay, that's really the long and short of this thing. But as far as the stop loss here, we're talking about 83 pips to try to capture. This is 134, but I think we're going all the way up. Okay, so I think we're going much further than that to 100. Okay, so I'm going to do a 0.01 here. We're going to risk $10 or something like that. So let's come down. Stop limit. Okay, just to show you guys, this is 83 pips. We'll call it 85. Okay, I'll go a little bit further. Okay, and my limit, we're gonna say we want 150 pips. Okay, I want this $15. Give it to me. Okay, and now I'm in. I bought the CAD yen. This is far and away the hottest currency cross that in existence right now. So for me to buy here, it's worked every day for the last couple of weeks. One more day, baby. One more day. That's really all I'm looking for here. That's how trend trading works. Okay, so Now that we've made our short-term trade and I've appeased all the people that don't have patience, including myself, I'm one of those people. Okay, I'm going to get rid of this little scalp trade. Because if you're, in my opinion, if you're waiting for something to go 600 pips, you should probably look to see what it's going to do on the way. There's a lot of opportunity on the way here. If I can't get 150 pips of it, then what am I waiting for on the other side? So I may end up buying this again before we get there. Kind of depends on what happens. But I think that we're going to continue seeing this massive, scary up move that's been going on, and whatever. Like, everybody's got their own way of looking at things. Personally, this looks like a trend to me. I've been doing this for many days. Okay, so the other thing that I want to check on here, since we've already gone at length to figure out why we like the CAD yen, I'm going to make sure I get this pending order in here first before I get sidetracked and look at something else shiny. So we're going to set this for a 100.77. Okay, is where I want to start selling this thing. Okay, and I'm going to get in light. I'm going to build this position. I'm not going to get in huge. If it digs on me, whatever. 0.01, and I'm not going to see a 0.01 bankrupt my life and keep me from eating food anytime soon. Okay, so that's why I do things like that, because I don't have to think about it in this small account that we're looking at here. Okay, so stop loss, I'm going to set one of those because I feel like that's the responsible thing to do, and because it is. Otherwise, you are kind of exposing yourself to unlimited risk within your account, which I don't really want to do. Let's see. I typed that in wrong here. 105.3. There we go. Limit. What do we got here? 94.629. There's one thing that might happen here in the near term, and one thing is that people need to understand that money flows. If this price gets really high, well, you guys already know that I'm going to take profit. Do you think there's a chance that if the market gets to this blue line here and this previous high, do you think that there's a chance that some big players in the markets will sell off? Anybody think there's a chance that we'll see a sell-off? Maybe just a lot of action on buying some of the cheapest yen we've seen since 2015. Anybody think that some banks might lick their chops at the cheapest yen we've seen in 7 years? I think that they might. Okay, so what I want to go back here and look at is that there's a lot of things. Well, right now, we're going to talk about a couple more things. As far as a shelter currency, you guys familiar with a shelter currency? I'm going to bring up a little bit about that, and I want to talk about the yen. We're going to come back over here to the USD JPY, and we're going to talk about this, the flow of money. I may come over here. Well, if we're going to get into shelter currencies, everybody knows about this one. This is not a... I'm sorry, Ray. Sorry, Ray. If we're going to talk about shelter currencies, I might talk about the ultimate shelter money, okay? Because gold is shelter money, okay? Paper or contracted gold is, I guess, shelter currency, okay? So contracts for gold, you could consider shelter currency. Physical gold is actual money, okay? That is the big difference that most people don't pay attention to, is that physical is money. Okay, this looks like an uptrend to most people, and I don't think I'm turning on a whole lot of light bulbs here. That, right now there's a lot of risk in the global economy. Okay, so everybody knows that. No big secrets here. This could be what our channel is, and I'm just picking this because it looks pretty. Okay, and this seems like where we might live for a long time. This is in this little channel here. Seems like fun, right? So right now, there's no reason for us to believe that there's no risk in currencies. Anybody think that I have not done the Euro USD? We can do that, Ray. We can definitely do that. But there's really no reason to believe that. Does anybody in here think that gold absolutely has to come down? If you do, I want to know what your source is. I want to know where you're getting your Russian disinformation. I'm just kidding. That's just what they tell all the good news sources here in the U.S. That's what lately some stuff that I followed for trading for many years that I very much like to follow is now Russian disinformation, which I think is kind of funny. But that being said, I'm going to go ahead and pull a fib, okay? Fibonacci. Okay, we've already hit this 382, okay? We could come down here into this 1836 range. That price is possible, okay? I don't really see it happening, but that doesn't mean it won't, okay? So eventually, I believe gold is going to get up here, especially if we have North Korea go to a long-standing war with the imperialism of the U.S. and we see China encroach more on Taiwan. If that's even a thing, who knows what's actually going on there anymore? But at the end of the day, if we see a lot of aggression from, well, all those people I just mentioned, then we're going to see higher gold prices, more than likely, okay? There's really no reason, in my opinion, why if you were in a long-term buy gold, then you might expect it to get here. That doesn't mean it can't come down and do all sorts of other stupid things before it goes to that price. It could go here, it could come up and then come back down. It could do a million different things while it does this. There's absolutely no way that shape I just drew there was totally arbitrary. It could absolutely do this tomorrow, okay? Maybe not quite backwards in time, but you guys get the point. Straight up is entirely possible. The yen has been very weak, Hyacinth, in my opinion, because I'm not sure if you saw the beginning of this presentation, but oil is expensive right now, and if they export or import anything, then they're going to pay higher prices for gas. And really just anything that Japan does right now is more expensive because oil is expensive. Okay, so something's going to have to give here soon. There's going to have to be a big move somewhere. And, let's go ahead and check out a couple of other things here. There's a new trade agreement happening between the UK and the Canadians. Okay, so I want to check out the pound CAD. Okay, this is an old one for sure. Looks like this buy trade happened and then unhappened. But let's go ahead and look at the all time frame here. Okay, this pound CAD is making a little bit of a dump. Okay, the pound has got crazy inflation right now. Okay, so do I want to stay in this short? We made some long pound dollars last week, but this short that I'm in, this pound Swiss that I'm in long right now, feels like a bad idea. I got in with the robot. 18 bucks is 18 bucks. Goodbye. Okay, I'm going to move on with my life. I'm not going to think about that anymore. Okay, the other option I might have had is just to hedge myself, trading the pound on something else. But frankly, I don't really care about doing that a whole lot. So I just want to win long term, and I don't want to stress about things and look at things that bother me. Does this look like an uptrend or a downtrend to you guys? You guys think up or down? Show of hands. Up or down? Just want to make sure you guys are still awake, still alive with a pulse, and you can tell that we're below this line here. Yeah, buddy. That's what's up. Actually down. Actually down, yes. So yes, correct, down. So that being said, we come down here and we want to know where the heavy prices are in the down direction, because that's where we're headed. Okay, so this is, some people might call this a demand zone. Okay, that we've come down and we've tested a few times. So this, to me, if we zoom in here, okay, we've got lots of prices down here that we may want to come down and test. Okay, we know we got a new trade deal here. So maybe the UK is going to be buying more Canadian dollars so that they can get more maple syrup or whatever the heck it is that they need to buy from Canada. Okay, so that being said, let's go ahead and measure how far this is. We're going to come down to the low time frame here in a moment and look for a way that we can get a part of this 397 pips of opportunity that I see to our next level of support. Okay, can I put an uptrend line from the monthly low? Oh, you're talking about from down here. Oh, that's what you want. Is that what you're looking for? Yeah? Okay. Well, we can look for a scalp within that. We can be even more conservative. Truth be told, I am looking to aim at this little bit lower price, but we can see some resistance there also. If you see it, other people see it. My opinion is not the only one on earth, and it certainly doesn't control the market. This looks like a hard downtrend. Can you guys see what I'm talking about? Look, this is since February 17th. This has been kind of falling like a rock. Okay, so that being the case, let's come down to our 1 hour, just like we did on that pound CAD. Okay, and this one, we can be just as cavalier. Okay, this has been a downtrend. Selling has been working here. Okay, don't care what anybody says. The sell has worked here for a month or so. This could be the last day. It could be no more. Everything must go, but maybe not. I'm going to trade this trend until it's not this trend. And let's see, we need a higher time frame maybe to catch a fib on here. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Okay, so I'm going to trade it until at least this extension level here and make this scalp. Okay, I want to just take this money and run. I don't want anything to do with not taking my profit with all this crazy mess going on in the world until we get to some crazy awesome prices where I may buy the pound later. Because yes, it, in my opinion, is already at catastrophic levels, but I don't really know what that is. I'm saying it's at catastrophic levels because the last time that markets were, where it is now was in 2008-11 as far as CPI goes. Okay, so I'm just going to use a couple of previous highs here. We had some consolidation above. We already came back up and tested. My opinion, this thing is on the way down Charlie Brown. So how much can I risk? And let's measure our stop loss here is 100 pips. It doesn't look like 100 pips, does it? This is a 2-hour chart. it's crazy. 100 for 165. Let's do it. This looks like a fun one. And we can do this one. Let's go to the market page. And let's do this right now. So it's 100 pips for 165 and oh, hold on. 100, 165. And I really think it can go further than that. I really do think it can go further than that. If we come down to an even lower time frame, maybe the 15-minute, okay? I could even tighten this up. 100 pips is, well, whatever, it's fine. Some people might feel better if they just do something like under 100. We'll do 95. RR not attractive. I'm not sure what you mean, Hyacinth. A risk reward. I mean, hey, that's up to you. That's up to you. Some people are going to do something like this, okay, and pull their risk in closer, okay? You may do that. Some people might do that. That would be more of the razor thin type of trade that you might be looking for, Hyacinth, but I'm just more interested. I'll reload. I'll sell it again if it comes up at this higher price, just to make sure we're on the same page. But the reason why I have a wide stop is so I can sell it again right there. And that risk reward is incredibly better than the current price. So I'm not gonna fault you for being tight. There's nothing wrong with that. But let's go. Let's keep on moving. CAD Swiss. Okay, this one might be interesting to say the least. Both of them should be strong right now. Okay, so reality. Let's go to the all-time frame here. Okay, this looks really low. This one's really, in my opinion, gonna be a little bit sideways. I'm really not crazy interested in this one right now, if we're gonna be real. Because I think both of these are going to see strength. And I think weakness, I think for the CAD Swiss, I mean, hard to say what this one's going to do. It's been a downtrend. Actually, let's go ahead and look at this here. Okay, this was our downtrend. Okay, but the thing that this one is doing that the other charts I showed you are not doing is that this one is not forming higher highs and higher lows on the right side. Okay, this is what's happening on the right side of that trend line. Okay, so if anything, this might be a sell. We might be able to take advantage of this sideways movement that's happening here. But the reason why I'm so weirded out by this one is because this is kind of what we're doing right now. Okay, and I'm just trying to add structure to this market, see what the heck it's been doing for whatever period of time. Let's come down to the weekly. You might as well figure this out. We're already here, right? Okay, so let's tighten up our lines a little bit here and make sure that I'm actually looking at what I care about and see how far away we are from things. This looks like it could be a great sell for a very short period of time. But we've been scalping today, so we might as well do it here. Okay, so this is kind of where I feel like this market is, just bottling itself up into really this price that's not that far away. It's already tested. So really the trade, in my opinion, is going to happen after this thing breaks out. And I really wouldn't want to be looking at buying this until there's some kind of a confirmation. So we would need to break out, and then I would probably want to trade it from over, probably somewhere like there, okay, is where I might expect this to go, which isn't that far off of the price we're at now. So I may not want to jump into this right away, but that said, it might be something pretty awesome in a couple of weeks once this market actually makes a decision, because I would probably rather trade well, let's just say I'm not really interested in trading it south right now because it's already hit our supply demand price. And really, once it gets out is where I would want to start buying or selling. Okay, and that would be at either of these prices on our little elbows. Okay, that's where I would want to look to sell or buy on this particular currency cross, because we've got tons of demand and supply. I mean, it would just be really almost impossible to figure out in my mind, or even to guess what this might do from a trend perspective, because we've got all sorts of sideways activity for the last many years. So if we come down to day, let's look at the day chart. Okay, if anything, okay, this is a really, really short-term sell opportunity, and I don't even really like it for that, if we're going to be real. I honestly think it's coming up higher. I'm out of here. I don't want to do this. I already showed you guys what I plan. I'm not going to trade something that I think needs another couple of weeks for me to care about it. Not so much for me to care about it. If you guys understand correctly, like, I want to be able to manage my risk. I don't think this is coming down yet, at least, and I don't really have a place I want to manage my risk below. If there's anything short term, we could dig more. Real short term, okay? Real short term, I might trade this W formation here and scalp this for a very small amount of pips. But that might be fun for a lot of people to see, so let's do that, okay? So there's the W that I'm talking about right here, okay? So if anything, I'm going to look for this little tail that usually happens on these W formations. That guy is all I'm going to look to trade. And I'm only going to do it if I've got decent enough risk reward on the top side from my current market price, where we are there with my blue line, okay? And I'm going to take a very small risk on this. This is not something that, well, it's a sideways market, so anything can happen. I just want to make sure that my risk reward is solid. If it moves, it can make money though, so I apologize for being such a wimp for most of this conversation. But that's really where I think this trade exists, and I'm going to go ahead and am I allowed to trade this one? Huh. It looks like no. Let me see here. Do I have another CAD Swiss? It says non-tradable. Maybe I'm not allowed to have this type of fun here in the US. Just change it to a different one, CAD CHF. It does look like it's shut off. I don't know if you guys can trade that or not. But realistically, that's what I think the trade is for right now. And the risk reward on this thing is real thin, 10 pips to try to capture 16. So this might be something that would have been a lot of fun. I could have traded this one pretty heavy. Let me see. There's got to be a way to do this. It looks like the active trader decided to sell just now. I don't know if you guys just saw that happen. But we are selling the pound Swiss right now. So that being said, that's actually kind of funny. Let's actually look at that chart. Yeah, we just sold just now. Trudeau got called the dictator. Yeah, he did, by a couple of different, I think, Romanian delegates. But let's keep on moving here. This is the pound Swiss that the active trader Max actually just opened to sell for me on. You guys didn't see that happen on the screen. Interesting, because I am selling the pound in a couple of different places right now, because that's where the momentum is. But let's go look at another pair. Anybody has anything else that they want to see in particular? I'm going to cover this Euro USD because it seems to be everybody's favorite. And let's go ahead and clear this out. Okay. NZD-JPY, that one sounds like fun. New Zealand's got a little bit of a scare down there because I think China is trying to build a military base in the Solomons. And I think Australia is probably not a huge fan of that either. So we'll see how that works out. But this Euro USD, this is an interesting one to say the very least. And you know what? I might actually pull out some fun indicators for this one. Let's pull out the Target Trading 2.0. Where are you at? Target Trading. I want the old school. Let's see. Target Trading. Maybe it's just Target 2.0. Somebody dump this out of here? Or do I not have access? And oh, there it is. Thank God. All right, cool. So I'm gonna get rid of these. I don't know. We might as well leave these monthly targets up here and see if we have anything that got missed. Okay, I'm gonna zoom in here a little bit. We're gonna come to a week first. Okay, and I want to look for targets that got missed. Okay, and one target I can see here that got missed is all the way up here. Okay, you guys see that? That would be an inefficiency in the market, okay, that, you know, maybe a lot of people had buy positions there years ago that they've just been building buys and building buys and building buys for many years. And, you know, they're just still sitting there waiting for that price to come back. Okay, the interesting part about this, we haven't seen tons of movement lately. Okay, so there's my missed target. I already know I want to trade this thing up. Okay, mostly because, you know, I mentioned the box earlier. Okay, this is a low price, okay, versus all of the prices that have existed, okay, for quite some time. Okay, and we've been testing this other previous low that I purposely tied in here so you guys could realize that previous support became future resistance over here on the right side of our trend line at these prices. Okay, so this is our future, well, our previous support becoming future resistance. Okay, so this has been our range. Some people think that the euro can get below $1. I think it's possible. It really kind of depends on the people and how much they can stand, okay, and how much they want to, let's just say, continue buying things at the rate that they always have, even if prices go up. Okay, that sort of thing is not sustainable. Okay, so really interested to see what happens here and what the banks do. I don't know if Europe can raise rates for a number of different reasons, but let's come down to the day chart. I've still got my other indicator on here. I want to see if we can get some other good looks at some potentially missed targets here. Okay, and it looks like we might even have one up here above. It does look like we might have touched that one. That was close enough for government work, I think, in my opinion. But realistically, the big purple ones that missed, okay, this one up top has not been hit. This is waiting for it, begging for it, my opinion. Okay, so could be now, could be in 3 years. Okay, that's how the banks trade. So unless you want to start trading the way the bank does, we need to take a little bit less cavalier of an approach on here. And I want to look for a shorter term target that this thing may have missed. Let's come down to our hour. Okay. And we've got a monthly target. You guys see this guy here? Up at 112. This is a much lower time frame. Okay, we haven't hit this yet. Okay, this is a very close target. Okay, that I might aim towards. Okay, it might really be a pain in the butt for it to get there, but hey, that's where I'm going to get out of Dodge in the short run, at least, and stop trading against this ridiculously strong downtrend that's been happening for the last year or so. Okay, so that being the case, I'm going to go ahead and pull a fib here. Okay. My fib zones are kind of telling me that, hey, maybe we die a little bit before that. So that might be where I end up getting out, especially considering that's almost to my blue line below here. Maybe we check the 2 hour, see if this fits up a little bit more nicely. And it does. Let's see, 4 hours. That 4 hour seems like mama's porridge to me. We've already got a breakout. I'm going to go ahead and buy this position up to our red line. I'm going to get out there. Put a blue price on here for my current market price. Okay. And let's see, one more line on here. We need a stop loss. Okay, we've already hit these other price targets that are below here. So from a risk rewards perspective, I can be pretty cavalier if I want to, and I can try to actually pull up even higher. I could be up here where these 3 lows existed, or I can be more careful and I can pull out further. Really kind of up to the trader, up to you guys, whatever it is that makes you feel good, then by all means. I'm not here to tell you exactly what to do. I'm just here to talk to you guys about managing risk. And 89 pips in my brain is like, who cares? To try to get 227 sounds like better than a 3-to-1. So I'm going to risk 90 pips here. Okay. And I'm going to try to get, 200. Okay. So that being said, I'm going to click on buy and I'm done. Let's see here. Is this going to be a short-term buy or a long-term opinion? My opinion is that this could be a very long-term buy. If war in Europe has a well, let's just say if it goes away, then I think this is an incredible buy. Or if it doesn't, it really kind of depends on what the banks do. I don't think any of this stuff really matters that goes on in the world. I think it's all just a distraction from what the bank is actually doing. Some people call me a conspiracy theorist. I just like to make money trading. Okay, so part of that is, how many of you ever heard the term contrarian? Contrarian trading. You guys know what this is? Just gonna Google it. Okay. All sorts of people advertise that they trade contrarily. I'm gonna think the opposite of what most people think. Contrarian investing. There's all this stuff here. Okay. All these people are conspiracy theorists. That's what that is. That's 3 of the same letters. Okay, so if you are, and the funny part about it is that all of the majority of traders lose. Okay, that's why you're in here trying to learn from somebody with maybe more experience, maybe less. I don't know. You're just trying to look at someone else's perspective, maybe. I don't know. But the bottom line is that people that make decisions differently in trading make more money doing it than other people. Okay, so it's very difficult for me to say, oh yeah, this war is justified and we definitely need to be there, and the governments didn't collude with one another for this overall solution to further their own benefit. I don't know. Okay, all I know is that the bank steals from you, and it has since the day you were born. Okay, so otherwise there wouldn't be any shareholders for the Federal Reserve. Okay, so that being said, okay, we've got time for one more here. NZDJPY got requested here, and I might as well throw it up. Let's do it. Oh, you're not going to want to see this FX book right now, Herb. It's ugly. It'll scare you. I'm up for the year, but I had let's just say I've been running this Active Trader Max, and I, for some reason, decided to run it with 5 open positions and step-ups. So it's been an ugly, ugly month. Primarily because I took too much risk with the robot. But I can, I'll find that here in a second. Let me go ahead and just pull that up, actually. This is a good learning experience, I think, for everybody. Because I had been up 50% on the year, okay? And now I'm still slaughtering, most markets. If you look at pretty much anything for the year, this is just this year, okay? I'm up 17%. Okay, this massive awful thing that happened here, I'll scroll down here and show you guys exactly what that was. Okay, because I had been on a crazy hot streak this year. And it's this USD CAD. You guys see this right here? Dollar CAD buy. Okay, that was where I got smoked. This right here, this is my robot. Okay, I ran this with no stop loss and blew 10% of my account on one trade. Okay, so really, really pissed me off. But really not that much, because this is a small account. Okay, if I was trading with $1 million in this account, 1, I wouldn't be trading this Cavalier. But 2, I'm still up for the year. So 16.5%. Really, this big place where I got smoked was with my robot. So you guys can, let's just say, rest assured that trading with a stop loss is much easier to manage your risk because you're actually using a hard stop loss. That robot, okay, just to come back here and show you guys more. Okay, so this robot here, what actually happened is that my computer decided that it wanted to, I don't usually run a VPS because I come and check things all the time, every day. And I have my computer on all the time, and that's usually what I think. But this case, I got caught with my pants down. My computer decided to restart, didn't turn on my charts, and then I had no stop loss because my robot stopped running because, well, Google Chrome wasn't open because my computer reset. So what that did is it exposed me to all of this. Okay, this is basically what crushed me this month. Okay, is that. So you don't want the same thing to happen to you. If you're going to run a robot, then you need to probably shut it off when you're going to go to sleep, set stops and limits, or get a VPS, a virtual private server. Okay. Otherwise, if you're going to trade manually, like we've done for most of this year, and I do in here every Friday, this is what we do, then you're going to have a hard stop loss and a limit, because you guys have watched me trade with a stop loss in all of these trades here. The only one that doesn't have one is this one the active trader just opened. Okay. So there is no hard stop or limit here. If my computer shuts off, this browser closes, the robot stops running, then I'm going to get in trouble. You can get arrested for exposing yourself. Well, yeah, that's entirely true. I had friends in college get in trouble for things like that. Man, that sounded really bad. Public urination is illegal. That was really what happened with that story. We're going to move on as quickly as possible. Anyways, I haven't been in college in a very long time, and it's a good thing that they won't take me back. So let's go ahead and find NZDJPY. I'm going to clear this out here. Now that we've had our little bit of a learning lesson with our FX book here, you guys can look at this here. I'll send you guys this link if you guys want to look at it, analyze. But yeah, absolute tear. Aside from that, big set of losses here. It was just disgusting. But that's what happens when you get overconfident. So let's go ahead and go to the month chart first. Okay, you guys can see this incredible up move that's been happening. Okay, and our trend here is a little different. NZDJPY has got a special trend going here, and I think that we've got room all the way up there up top. Okay, why not? Okay, why not? This is our more recent trend right here. We're above that. It looks pretty steep too. And looks like it has been really steep. We've got a really amazing breakout. This would look like it could come down a lot. What's crazy is I think as far as our Kiwi prediction we made here in January, well, let's just say I think we hit our target, because our target was right. We're past the target, so that happened. But let's go ahead and see if we can still milk this for any more pips. Okay, all the way up top here. Where's our next level of resistance? Let's look for a smart resistance. Way the heck up there at our fib level that just happened. Or actually, maybe a little below. Let's get rid of this trend here. Okay, so we got lots of space. We just broke through this level. So let's come down to the lower time frame and look for a scalping opportunity that might exist, because those happen. And right now let's just say this is bullish. Okay, very bullish. And the question is, where can I manage my risk and how much do I want to take? Okay, how much do I have to take? Let's draw one line here first so we can figure this out. But this trend is up. Okay, anybody have any inkling about this being a different direction? Okay, I think this is an uptrend. I think it is. Every fiber of my being, I think this is an uptrend, but it doesn't matter what I think, people. That's why this red line is going to happen. Okay, if I'm going to place a manual trade, there's my red line where I want to kick and scream and say, hey, uncle. Actually, we're going to pull this green line up here. I didn't mean to change that one. Here we go. This is where I'm going to scream uncle right here. Okay, I want out. Let me out at that price. Okay, so that being said, zoom in a little bit more so you guys can all see what I'm looking at here. Okay, and then I'm going to look for a place where I can buy it, get out quick, take some profit in the middle of this trend. I'm not trying to milk it for everything it's worth, 50 pips to try to get 100 sounds like a 2-to-1. Man, am I not going to be allowed to buy this NZDJPY? They're not going to let me do it. It says no actual rate for symbol. I'm not allowed to do it. Man, being American's a pain. But you guys get the point. That's what I want to do. I'm unfortunately not going to be able to do it and show you guys how to place the trade in Smart Trader. But I've already placed a good number of them in here today. I hope you guys learned something in here. I hope that I didn't, upset anybody. Because I have lots of fun talking about this stuff. I very much enjoy doing these sessions. Just Joe and Co. That's funny. But anyways, we're still up for this year, people. We're still up pretty big in these sessions for this year. Unfortunately, did have a little bit of a mishap with the Active Trader Max last week. But the fortunate thing is that I plan for my wins as much as I plan for my losses, and this is not a scary account to trade. For most people in here, I hope this is not a scary amount of money to trade. I want to help you guys grow your accounts. Okay, that's the whole point of being here. That's why I'm teaching you how to set a stop loss. Okay, that's why I spend so much time in here talking about risk, and I make that risk it to get the biscuit joke so much. Every time in the risk disclaimer, people have to be getting tired of it. But I promise you, I'm doing this to try to save you time and stress and pain in your learning experience and your trading experience in general. And outside of that, I like to win. So thanks again, everybody, for joining. Hope you guys all had a good time. I know I did. You guys enjoy the rest of your Friday. Have a good weekend and be good or be good at it. Take care, folks.